guess is taking out the bad stuff. So if you're headed to the fair today, and today's your cheat day, go for it. Have fun. But if every day's your cheat day and you're going to the fair, well, you might have a problem, and you wonder why all of a sudden a few days later you have inflammation in your knee from an old injury and it's bothering you. Well, where'd that come from? Well, how about all the crappy food you're eating that could be exacerbating that condition that's already there?
Hey, George, you mentioned inflammation. On the break, we were talking about the fair, and I said, "What's the fried food of the year?"
Yeah.
And you said fried beer.
Yeah.
How do you think that's going to affect somebody's knee inflammation or joint pain? Can you imagine?
Exactly.
Probably not the best, is it?
So then, what everybody else falls prey to, and I did years ago, is let me take a supplement. Let me take a supplement because the news says certain supplements work for me. My friends are taking supplements because I see it on TV, because the marketing has sold me on supplements, and it's a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Sure.
While I agree with taking supplements is imperative in today's society and the depleted food that we're eating, I do not agree with going to the store just because your friend's taking it or you're sold on marketing and just picking a supplement up. It is so very important for you to get tested first to find out the nutrients that are missing that you have to replace, because if you add nutrients that are not missing, you can actually do damage, not help yourself. Now, this is something where this is your expertise. I want you to comment on it.
You're exactly right. The nutrient that's going to do the most good is the nutrient that you need. And the nutrient, George, that you need is not exactly the nutrient that I need.
No matter what we look like. If we if we were twins,
right,
and had the same body, it still doesn't mean that we need the same nutrient.
Exactly right. So probably the best way is, after you've committed to yourself that you're going to do something, you need to go see an expert that can actually evaluate you based on your signs, your symptoms, your goals, your lifestyle, your lab work, blood work, saliva testing, urine analysis, stool analysis, hair analysis, whatever kind of analysis is necessary based on that person's goals. I can determine the nutrient or combination of nutrients that is most likely going to bring that person back into balance so that their metabolism is able to function normally. Sometimes a person doesn't have a normal functioning metabolism, and doing the things that will make you or me get ripped is not going to work on that person,
right,
because their metabolism doesn't function normally. So we need to maybe focus in on a specific area of the metabolism. It's not just a matter of boosting the speed of the metabolism. That's not what I'm talking about.
Right.
What I'm talking about is making sure, and that was one of the things I had on my list, make sure you don't have a thyroid issue. Make sure you don't have diabetes or insulin resistance, which is prediabetes. Make sure you don't have anemia. That's a real short list, but we're talking about getting started here. Make sure you don't have those things before you do anything, because if you do, forget it. Nothing's going to work for you. And there are a lot more of those little metabolic imbalances we could talk about, but that's not really what we want to focus on this show. Just make sure you don't have any major problem with your metabolism.
How about this one? Managing expectations.
Nice.
This is a big one. There are people who have done my cleanse and expected to get the same exact results that their friend got because they lost 30 or 40 pounds in that time frame when this person who did the cleanse didn't need to lose that much, or maybe they do. But what often happens when you perform, whether it be my cleanse or another program, and I would love for you to chime in on this, is that something else can show up, or you're not aware of how the cleanse worked for you before, like a friend of mine who just did it, and it didn't work as well now, not recognizing that he should be taking liver gallbladder support because of all the fatty foods he's taken, not treating himself great for so long, that he needs the extra support. It would complement the cleanse and he would get the results that he wanted.
Absolutely. Nothing is going to show your weaknesses more than a good strict diet program. Some people come to me and they say, I started this diet, and I say, okay, first of all, what are you eating? Well, lean meats, healthy oils, vegetables, and fruit, and maybe nuts and seeds. And I feel terrible, doc. I say, okay, really? Do you think that eating a very healthy, perfect diet should make you feel terrible? And they look at me, they say, well, no, that doesn't make any sense. I said, so that tells you something is wrong with you. It's not something wrong with your diet. The diet is what you should have been eating all along.
Right.
And what you've done with all this terrible lifestyle, bad habits for years and years and years, decades most of the time, you've messed your body up to the point where your body can't tolerate a healthy lifestyle. So we've got to fix that.
And what it can show up as resistant to fat loss.
Yes.
It could show up as adrenal issues where all of a sudden someone's not sleeping now. It could show up as constipation.
Any kind of digestive issue.
Especially
it brings it out.
issues.
It brings it out immediately.
So it's not that you're eating healthy food and now all of a sudden the healthy food's giving you a problem. You're the problem. And it's make sure to manage the expectations. I want to still touch on this coming up next. We'll talk about managing expectations because age is a factor. Fitness level is a factor. Your eating habits. There's no one size fits all. And also we're going to talk about losing your fat friends. Great study done about fat friends who have fat friends and the problem with fat loss and being healthy. We'll talk about that coming up next. And also we're going to take some calls if you'd like to chime in on today's show. We're talking about people who want to lose fat or get in shape, whatever that definition is for you, but also keeping it off. There are many millions of people who can get it off and who have gotten weight off, but they can't keep the weight off. Why? And I think it's because of some of the things we're addressing now. Coming up next, we're going to continue on with managing expectations. 725 Sports Radio 1310, The Ticket.
Come Ticket.
734 Sports Radio 1310, The Ticket. George D. John, Train Station Fitness Show. My guest in the studio, Dr. Jeremy Webster. If you'd like to get in touch with Dr. Webster, let me give you his phone number, 972-735-0707. We're talking today about people who want to lose weight and who just want to become fit. If you want to take supplements, it's really a show for everybody, but especially for those who really want to lose fat and keep it off. What is it that will help you to begin whatever the program is that is right for you versus you just going out and starting something what you feel is best for you or your best friend did or does do now?
The latest thing in the muscle mags.
Yeah, it's the muscle mags, it's the latest diet and all that other stuff.
Absolutely.
And before we move on to where I was going to go with that, let's give out the number. If anybody has any questions or comments about today's show, you can always call us today. We're going to take some calls for a little while. 214-787-1310 or toll-free 877-528-1310. My managing expectations is where we left off,
Right.
and I still want to do that now.
I do too.
From an exercise standpoint, someone begins an exercise program, they start feeling good, and they start seeing some results, but then they stop seeing results. And if you're a person who exercises all of the time and you're beyond that beginning stage and wonder why you run 5 miles a day, but you still don't look good, or you don't look the way you want to look. Or if you go to the gym every day and you do strength training and you do aerobic training and you still wonder why you don't, you think to yourself, well, God, what do I have to eat perfect to get the body I want? I work out all the time so I can eat some of the things that aren't so perfect, and not recognizing that from an exercise standpoint, you may be performing exercises that don't do a darn thing. Like if you're doing bicep curls and tricep pushdowns, think about whether you're trying to be a bodybuilder or you're trying to really be a person who's well-rounded, fit all over, and lose weight throughout your entire body.
Right.
Why are you trying to do biceps and triceps and shoulders?
Right.
What's the goal?
Right. I think where you're going with this is understanding what certain types of exercise actually result in. If your objective is to be fit and to lose fat on your body, doing bicep curls is not going to do that much for you. Also, if you want to be fit, just know that doing aerobic exercise is probably not exactly what you want to do as far as achieving
Will you
your
take
goal.
out that word probably, please, and say it the way it's supposed to be said?
It will not help you achieve
Say it
your
louder.
goal. Doing aerobics is not the best form of exercise unless your goal is to be a marathon runner. That's what I'll say.
There you go.
If that's your
Okay.
goal, great. Otherwise, let's do something that actually builds muscle and stimulates fat burning rather than just causes you to burn, basically waste away your muscle tissue.
Right,
Is what-
and
is
also
what aerobics
adds
says.
the aerobic training adds stress to your body, which keeps inflammation, which keeps fat on. And we've gone there before many, many times. We're not going to do it again. But we're talking about managing expectations. So if your expectation is that you're going to go to the gym 7 days a week and perform aerobic training every day, and you're going to lose 40 pounds, think again. If your expectation is that you're going to go in the gym every day and you're going to work out doing strength training every day and aerobic training every day, and you're going to eat like crap, think again.
Right.
Manage your expectations and have an idea of where you want to go, and if you're not getting there, hire a professional. So with that said, let's talk about the trainers. Hire a trainer.
I want to do one more thing.
Go ahead.
As far as managing expectations, people have to understand the time frame that